Priče sa istoka. Sledi na Al Jazeeri.
More and more young Australian men are willing to put their lives on the line for the perfect body. Studies show they're bowing to social pressure to be bigger and stronger.
We're seeing lots of images of muscular men. Most of the time they're steroid enhanced, they're Photoshop enhanced. Big muscles is an overt expression of masculinity.
In their quest for the perfect physique, they're willing to sacrifice a normal life.
I'll wake up and do cardio, then I'll go to work, drive home, have another meal, then drive to gym.
You get sick of it, you get frustrated, but in the end it's all worth it.
While some take it to the extreme.
These guys, they don't want to do it slow anymore. They want that instant gratification. They want to be there now.
I'm Fauziah Ibrahim. On this edition of 101 East, we ask just how far are Australian men willing to go for the body beautiful? Sydney's Bondi Beach, probably the most glamorous of Australian beaches. While the sun, sand and surf are a definite attraction, so are the bodies on display. In summer, this beach becomes the pageant stage for young, fit men to show off their physical prowess. For some, achieving physical perfection is a pastime. For others, it can be an obsession.
Hello, John speaking.
Johnny Starr has two lives. By day, the 23-year-old works as a real estate agent in Melbourne, successfully dealing with multi-million-dollar properties.
You've got to be really disciplined in real estate. You've got to get on the phones, prospect, find people who are willing to sell and sell with you and build this sort of network and database. Mary, how you going? Chris, how are you, mate?
Yeah,
have one through? Yeah. Sweet, let's go.
And just like his favourite superhero, Johnny is charismatic, meticulous and driven. All elements that help him seal the deal.
This actually still works.
By night, Johnny works at sculpting his body. He's a member of the Melbourne Aesthetics Crew, a group of young men dedicated to achieving what they consider the perfect physique. Johnny's ultimate goal is to grace the cover of a men's fitness magazine. Getting there means eating a regimented diet of clean foods and training up to 3 times a day.
Leading up to summer for like 8 or 10 weeks, I'll start training a little bit more. So I'll do cardio in the morning from 6 to 7 a.m. I'll wake up and do cardio. Then I'll go to work, drive home, have another meal, then drive to gym. I'll do weights with some guys at the gym, my trainer, about 45 minutes. And then I'll do another half an hour of cardio or maybe an hour before I go to bed or at night time. Yeah.
What is this for? Why are you training so hard and why are you eating so healthily? I mean, it's great that you're very healthy, whatever, but...
I must sound like a freak, yeah.
Well, a lot
Absolute
of people
freak.
would say...
I'm crazy, right?
Why? What is the point of all of this?
It's so we can look good. Yeah, it's so we can look good.
And that's the sole point of it.
I guess you could say our end goal is just to look good for summer. You know, you got a few months where you can get your gear off, take your top off and walk around on the beach and be like, hey, this guy looks awesome.
Do you think you're narcissistic?
How should I answer this question?
Do you think you are? Do you think?
To an extent, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
Why? I mean, a lot of people would say, because you just said that I do this to look good.
I just look to look good. My aim, like on my pages, says I just want to inspire people. So if I can inspire the uninspired, that's what it's really about. Because I was that skinny kid growing up, I always wanted to be a bit bigger.
Whose attention or whose approval are you seeking?
No one's approval. How do I answer this question? You know, obviously there's a bit of respect between, if you see someone that trains, you know what goes into it, so there's mutual respect between guys, no homo. And then obviously with girls are always going to, you know, are attracted to bigger guys. I think anyway, we're more athletic guys, so.
Most men would rather have a compliment off another man than a woman, for example, because a man has a greater ability to affirm one's masculinity than a woman.
As an amateur boxer, Stuart Murray understands the male drive to be bigger and stronger. As a clinical psychologist, he's seen a rising number of men becoming obsessed with their bodies as a result of gender equality.
As men and women have become more equal in society, men have lesser and fewer domains to emphasise or exert their masculine dominance. The last remaining domain is said to be physical musculature, in that females aren't as physiologically equipped to develop big muscles as men, and so big muscles is an overt expression of masculinity. Guys now in the media, we're seeing lots of images of muscular men. Most of the time they're steroid enhanced, they're Photoshop enhanced, and the average guy in the street just compares really negatively to these images. And this causes a direct sort of reduction in body satisfaction and a drive for increased muscularity.
Dr. Murray says this social pressure can be detrimental to certain vulnerable individuals. He's embarked on research into an emerging psychiatric condition amongst men known as muscle dysmorphia, an illness that compels men to adopt a strict diet and training regime to become more muscular. While it sounds like a healthy, disciplined lifestyle, Dr. Murray says it comes at a personal cost.
Exercise is healthy, lifting weights is healthy. I think the line, in my own experience, is when it gets to a point where the impairment it causes on your life is so significant that it impinges normal life. I once came across who refused to remove his blender from his desk at work and was making protein shakes every 3 hours. And he eventually got fired. One patient set his alarm every 2 hours in the night so he could take a protein shake to ensure that he was anabolic all night, 24/7.
Keeping anabolic, or a state of continued muscle growth, is pushing some men to turn to performance-enhancing drugs. Under normal circumstances, steroids and human growth hormones are medically prescribed to aid with certain ailments. But these drugs are also recognized among bodybuilders as chemical aids to help build body mass.
I think steroids are becoming so prevalent at the moment, and men now are becoming increasingly objectified, and our bodies are viewed more aesthetically than functionally. And so it is a quick boost to an aesthetically desirable body.
Sociologists say this quest for the perfect physique is ingrained in boys from an early age. It's not enough for today's superheroes to possess upstanding characteristics. Their bodies need to be overtly ripped and muscled as well. In some eyes, Luke Shembry is considered a superhero. He's a fireman in the New South Wales Fire Brigade. He also runs a successful business selling healthy meal plans. And he's won the International Federation of Bodybuilders Mr. Australia title twice. Many of his clients want to attain his physique, but Luke is quick to tell them there are no shortcuts.
look, it's not about sort of going hard in the gym for a week or training real hard for a month. You know, it's every year putting it back to back, and that's what it's taken for me to get here. It wasn't overnight. It's just been a very hard, long road.
Luke is wary when asked about reports of steroid abuse in the bodybuilding industry.
There's definitely people in the bodybuilding industry that give it a bad name. You can't help those people, like, you know what I mean? All you can do is promote an image of yourself, live your life your way, the way you want to be, and hopefully others will look at you and use you as a positive role model, and they won't focus on the negative sides of what people can do, you know, in any type of sport.
When people look at you and they see bodybuilder, they see you're big, you're huge, they say, must be steroids. Is that true?
Look, I tell them I've been training 14 years. When they see my diet plan and how I eat every day, when they see how hard I train, when I show them photos of me 5 years ago, even halfway to where I am at the moment, and then they realise, you know what, this guy's put in the hard work over 13, 14 years. You know, there was no quick fix for this guy. He's done the hard yard.
But have you ever been tempted to take steroids?
Look, there's always that part of it, and it's always going to be involved in bodybuilding and trying to be the best you can, and that is up to the individual. And I guess, look, it's always out there in any sport, you know, and there's nothing you can really do that's ever going to take that away, and it's just, you have to make that decision for yourself.
While Luke promotes a healthy program for bodybuilding, others are looking for shortcuts, turning to performance-enhancing drugs. Australia has one of the world's strictest drug laws, and it is illegal to acquire steroids or growth hormones without a prescription. No one we spoke to would admit to taking the drugs, but several told us of the existence of a large black market. Many of the drugs are acquired from overseas, particularly from countries where regulation is lax, amongst them Thailand. This Southeast Asian country has long held the promise of exotic adventures for young travellers. The country's food, culture, people and landscape draw millions every year. There's something for everyone: families, couples, holiday makers. And those seeking to experience another side head to Sin City, Pattaya, where anything goes. It's here we met Tim Ward, better known as Sharky, a social media celebrity of sorts. Sharky left Australia 3 years ago and retired to Pattaya, where he spends much of his time at the gym. This larger-than-life character is now part of the city's attractions, with fans the world over seeking him out. Sharky says he's noticed a rise in the number of young men visiting Thailand to start a cycle of steroids. He admits to taking a human growth hormone, but says younger men don't need to.
I take testosterone, I take growth hormone, but I know how to take it, and that's the thing. I've been doing it that long, and through blood tests I know exactly how to keep my levels where I want them to be. You don't need testosterone in your 20s. What for? Your body's producing enough of it anyway. And the disadvantage with taking testosterone is once you do start, your body will stop producing it. These guys, they don't want to do it slow anymore. They want that instant gratification. They want to be there now. And, you know, it's sad, really. Sad when you see it, because they're not enjoying it. They're not enjoying the training.
Sharky also has a dire warning for those seeking steroids and hormones in Thailand.
Look, I want to tell you something. This is the best way to put it. This is Thailand, okay? And just because it's got big breasts and long hair, it doesn't mean it's a woman. And just because it's in a bottle and it says testosterone, it doesn't mean it's testosterone. Now, I know for a fact that the FDA has cracked down on steroids so much now in this country. There isn't a single pharmacy I would walk into and buy growth hormone from now.
Why not?
Because it's fake.
But nothing seems to deter those seeking drugs to enhance their physique. We meet a steroid user in Pattaya who wants to remain anonymous. He tells us he also exports the drugs from Thailand into Australia through a website.
Who would be your clientele?
Bodybuilders, anyone that wanted to try out, get bigger. But you just offer them extra information as well. You know, if they ask a million questions, you get a million questions, and you just got to answer everything, just honestly and truthfully. And if they start and they trust you, then they just buy the product, and you say, "Well, good luck, man. Let me know how it goes," and it's, you know, cool.
Is it easy to get steroids in Australia?
It's easy, very easy. You gotta know what to do, how to get it in, and who to go to.
So it's still getting in?
Still getting in.
Despite what the customs people say?
Customs are useless.
But is this the real stuff, or is this the fake stuff that you'd be selling?
No, I sell real stuff. You want repeat customers. You don't want people to inject themselves or something worse, and then, you know, it gets tracked back to you.
Then where do you get the real stuff from?
Over the counter. You get over the counter in the chemist. So you gotta know which chemist to go to.
Is it easy to get it here?
Very easy.
Over the counter?
Yeah.
You don't need a prescription here?
No, but you got to walk in, you got to know exactly what to say, and sometimes you've got to go in there and, you know, buy a couple of things, so they sort of know your face, and helps if you speak the language, really.
We decided to test out Tom's claims.
So we've been told that it's relatively easy to get steroids or human growth hormones anywhere in Pattaya. So what we're going to do is we'll try and go into some of these pharmacies here and just see what we can get without a prescription.
Yes, for muscle. I only sell, not recommend. For inject, for tablet, for muscle. Yes.
Okay.
And then there were the friendly ones who knew their way around the law.
This is original brand. This is Deka. Original brand. ไม่มีปัญหากับ FDA.
So we've hit 10 pharmacies on this one particular street in Pattaya, and at least 4 of them have been willing and able to provide us with steroids. Now let's see what we've got. We've been able to get a very popular brand of testosterone, as well as some pills, and a very popular injectable as well, and a syringe. So it does go to show that it's quite easy to get steroids here in Thailand without a prescription.
We approached Thailand's authorities regarding the lax regulation of the sale of steroids.
We cannot punish people who illegally export steroids out of Thailand. Under Thai law, steroids are considered as a controlled medicine, unlike narcotics. We still don't have a law to convict steroid smugglers.
But don't you think then that this just creates and encourages a black market in steroids because of the lack in penalties?
We don't support the abuse of steroids. When foreigners come here to buy and sell steroids, this shows the flaws of our system. We cannot stop them from selling steroids through the internet, even though it is illegal. We have a lack of resources to monitor these transactions, and the problem is getting worse.
It's a fact confirmed by Australia's authorities. Customs officials say the amount of steroids being smuggled into the country has more than doubled in the past 5 years. Officials blame the increasing number of websites offering steroids for sale through the post. Often, these websites and forums offer advice to the novice without addressing the various health risks involved in consuming the drugs. Dr. Jazeera Ibrahim of the Sydney Institute of Sports says while steroids and growth hormones are effective in defining muscle quickly, long-term use is detrimental to the body.
Having extra hormones on board will switch off the hormone receptors in the brain, which would, in the long term, cause shrinkage of the private parts, also infertility. We know that the steroids are metabolised in the liver, so the liver can't handle the amount of hormones on board and tends to, down the track, have cancer.
Dr. Amir says he often gets asked by patients to prescribe steroids for the sole purpose of building bigger muscles. He refuses, as he could lose his license. He's also concerned about the potential social impact steroids and growth hormones can have.
There's a thing called roid rage, where people lose control of their emotions when they're on steroids, particularly during the middle of a course. And there can be things such as angry outbursts, violence, depression, anxiety, which all affect a builder or person taking steroids when they're on it. And we're also seeing an increase in level of violence around the city in young men, and it's thought that one of the reasons for this has been the increased use of anabolic steroids.
Despite the health risks, there are many willing to take a gamble. A worrying trend for young, impressionable boys who aspire to emulate their heroes.
Side try.
Sometimes I have to question my ability. Is it really worth pursuing a career with no stability?
16-year-old Nathan Rowe started bodybuilding a year ago. Now he's putting himself through the paces as he prepares for his first bodybuilding competition.
I put a lot of hours in. There's no point in doing all them hours for nothing. Take it a step at a time. Juniors, teenagers, men's, then we step with you.
Nathan works hard for his sport, sacrificing the usual teenage social life for regimented dieting and hard training, sometimes till 2 a.m. While other parents may worry about such a level of dedication, Sue Rowe encourages her son.
I know that he's in a safe, secure place and I can rest at night. I know that he's not out on the streets getting himself into any trouble. He's in a safe place. Nathan of years ago was diagnosed with ADHD, lack of concentration, high on sugar. Comparing him from then till now, total difference. This has honestly helped him with his diet, ability to concentrate a lot more. He's a totally different person. ADHD, I think, has gone out the window.
Sue is well aware of the reports of steroid abuse in the sport her son is entering, but trusts him enough to make the right judgments.
How would you feel if Nathan came home one day and said, "Mum, I've been on steroids for the last 3 months"?
I know, honestly, he wants to do it the healthy way, and he said that to me. If he does, it will be a shock, definitely. A definite shock, because he's done all this on his own, the healthy way, and I know that he can continue it.
Nathan's commitment to his sport requires him to prepare up to 6 meals a day and no junk food.
A lot of chicken breast, a lot of fish, less potatoes, less spaghetti or pastas and so on. Yeah, just proteins. It's annoying, but you got to do what you got to do to be what you want to be, you know.
Do you feel like you're giving up on food?
I love food. You get sick of it, you get frustrated, but in the end, it's all worth it.
Nathan doesn't think he's missing out on his teenage social years either, preferring to spend his time at the gym. He hopes to be able to work his way up to rivaling his bodybuilding idols.
When you first started seeing results, what was the feeling?
Oh, it's great, amazing. Used to pump. You see this little vein come out of my arm. I was like, what is this? You know? And that got me happy. I was like, I want more veins. Well, then you start to see muscle mass. And I used to carry a measuring tape. I used to measure my arms all the time. And I was like, wow, man, 1 month, grew like that little bit. You just want to keep going and on and on. I'm not going to stop until it gets full.
So everyone has a certain peak with their body that genetics will limit.
Yeah.
How far are you willing to go beyond that? Are you willing to take steroids to get bigger?
Maybe older. When I know I've stopped growing and I'm struggling with it, and of course I need a boost. Like, a lot of people think steroids just make you big like that, but it's the amount of work you have to put into it, the working out, the dieting, it's just the same. It's just going to help you that bit, like, for sure, when I'm older, if I want to take it on board, yeah.
But you do know the health risks that are involved, and you're willing to risk your health in order for the sport.
Yeah.
Why?
Sacrifice, you know. I want to be a champion, you know. And to be a champion, you've got to sacrifice a lot of things in life, especially in this sport, so yeah.
And you're willing to put your health at risk?
Yes.
Nathan still has a long road ahead of him to achieve his ultimate goal. But whether it be for sport or pure aesthetics, there's no doubt it's a challenging task to attain and maintain the body beautiful, no matter what the sacrifices or the risk.